common garden product may be able to take the bite out of one of the most powerful forces on Earth, hurricanes. And some scientists think the odd-sounding idea may just have some merit. Peter Cordani is the man with the plan. Mr. Cordani, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So very briefly, what do you have here?
What I have here, I'm going to simulate today, is actually a hurricane. What we're going to try to do is absorb the moisture out of the hurricane, and it'll weaken it.
We're going to get to an example in just a minute, but what are you trying to accomplish ultimately here? Just ending hurricanes, slowing them down, what?
Slowing them down. We're trying to pull the strength out of the hurricane, so we feel if we absorb the moisture, it will do that. And I had a rag inside the bilge. I picked it up, and it had salt water on it, and I realized that working with the soil moist, it has a little bit of an oily feeling, and when I was working with the rag, the salt water ate the gel right off my hands.
Right. Now, what exactly is soil moist?
Soil moist is designed where you put it around your flowers so your roots could absorb the moisture out of it. You soak this stuff, you put a couple of tablespoons in water, you stir it up.
I see.
And it swells up. It has an absorption capability that is incredible. And then you pack it around the roots of your plant if it's in a dry area. And then it will absorb all the moisture into the roots on the following day.
So you kind of stumbled upon all this. How long have you been working on it?
Approximately 2 years.
2 years. You are very quick to point out that you are not a scientist.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
We want to go to a scientist now, an expert in Miami. Hugh Willoughby is the director of the Hurricane Research Division of the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. Mr. Willoughby, thanks for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You see a lot of harebrained ideas when it comes to hurricanes. What do you think about this? Does this have a chance?
It has a chance. There are a lot of considerations. There's a lot of science that has to be done. No, I get an awful lot of these suggestions, and most of them are just plain loony. This one actually is something that we'll take a look at. We have a computer simulation that we can do really cheaply to check it out and see where we go from there.
You were saying, when will that be done, sir?
There's a scientist out in Nevada who's probably one of the leading experts on what goes on in clouds and how clouds make rain. And Peter's going to send him a sample, and he'll mess around with it and see what happens. At some point, somebody will probably drop a little bit of it into a fair weather cloud to see what'll happen. And as I say, we have a computer model where we can simulate what we think will happen.
Sure.
And we'll see where we go from there.
Okay. Peter, hey, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Sounds encouraging. Peter Cordani, thanks for being with us.
Powder weaken a powerful hurricane or maybe end a drought. A Palm Beach Gardens man says he can do it, and today he got his chance to prove it. Was he successful? We turn to News 12's Chuck Weber in the newsroom with more on this. Chuck?
Well, Chandra, we just got back from being out on the water in a boat. Sky 12 was up in the air, and you'll be able to see from our video here this cloud seeding operation may have some potential for hurricanes. A crop dusting plane flying 3 miles off Jupiter drops powder into a cloud. Peter Cordani of Palm Beach Gardens here believes this is the way you can break up clouds and maybe even weaken hurricanes.
If it's successful today, it'll be very exciting news and a beautiful gift to society, I believe.
The powder the crop duster is dropping into the cloud is a water-absorbing polymer. The pilots in our news helicopter report the top of the cloud seems to be breaking up.
What they just told us, it did dissipate the top of the cloud, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
To better understand what just happened, let's go to Cordani's lab at his Riviera Beach business.
This will be the plane flying over. We're going to seed the cloud. We've just seeded the cloud.
Mixed in water, the polymer powder forms a gel. Cordani says in a cloud in the right amount, that gel will fall to the ground, breaking up the cloud. But what about the environmental impact? Cordani says the gel is biodegradable.
As soon as it hits the ground, if the ground's nice and dry, it will absorb it and extract all the moisture out of the polymer.
The rest, he says, will evaporate, and when the gel hits salt water, it dissolves. Cordani says he'll be back on the ocean soon for another try with more powder this time. Cordani came up with this idea from his business, which is selling products that absorb oil and other substances. The trick may be finding the right equipment and getting large enough amounts of this powder to actually do some effective work in a hurricane. We'll keep...
The Dino Mat Company in Riviera Beach has created a polymer which is capable of absorbing water. The creators say sprinkling the powder in storm clouds
would force the rain to gellify and then fall to the ocean. Once the gel makes contact with seawater, it breaks down. And today the company got some big support from Apollo 14 astronaut Ed Mitchell.
Find something that's this exciting and environmentally pure. And we have to demonstrate all that too, but this is pretty convincing here.
But a Riviera Beach man is shaking up the clouds with his latest invention, literally. He claims his product can decrease the severity of threatening storms. Eyewitness News 25's Felicia Rodriguez joins us with more. Felicia?
Well, Tiffany, Peter Cordani is hoping his product will help save lives and property in the event of a major storm. Today, he proved his product works on rain clouds, but can it really weaken a hurricane? Well, he believes it can.
Dynagel, a powder-like substance that turns water into a gel, a break in the clouds.
That whole cloud, you see the way it's separated in half, and there's only a little piece left over there? The cloud is dissipating, and it's still dissipating right now as we speak from the fluff that's still floating up there.
Cordani claims the moisture in the clouds solidify into a gel-like substance. That substance then falls into the ocean and liquefies. Cordani has teamed up with scientists and weather experts over the past 2 years to come up with a way to slow down threatening storms and hurricanes. The next step for this team is to test Dynagel using larger planes, like C-130s, to drop the substance into huge storm clouds.
We're making history at this point. We feel in the future we'll be able to protect shorelines all across the world.
And Dynagel is a versatile product. The makers claim it has the potential to extinguish forest fires and can be used to force moisture down to the ground in the event of a drought. Some pretty amazing stuff. Tiffany, back to you.
It's very interesting. Felicia, thank you. And in 2 weeks, the makers of Dynagel will conduct more testing of the product as a fire retardant.
The Dynomat company used a plane to dump 500 pounds of a special super absorbent polymer into a cloud. That polymer absorbs moisture and then it drops back into the ocean. The team is hoping to use the chemical to decrease the strength of hurricanes. Today's test went off without a hitch, but tomorrow is the big run. The team will dump 10,000 pounds of the product into a cloud in an effort to try to wipe it out entirely.
Tomorrow, Dynomat will send up 2 jet airplanes loaded with more than 8,000 pounds of a special chemical they hope will dissolve a major storm cloud. News Channel 5's Jamie Holmes is standing by live from the Palm Beach International Airport, where the planes will be taking off tomorrow with the latest for us tonight. Jamie?
Laurel, this is the big run for the Dynomat team, and if they succeed, you can say you saw it here first.
That's it for that side. The planes are ready. The tanks loaded with 8,000 pounds of chemical. And if all goes well, Mother Nature is about to be handed her hat.
We're going after a building thunderstorm this time, and when we dump a load out like this, this will be the first time we have the ability to dump a major load at one time, and it'll absorb all the moisture and it'll prove our point.
And so the team at Dynomat is at it again, and this time they brought out the big guns. 2 jet airplanes from Aero Group Incorporated will ascend to about 10,000 feet to drop its payload, this super absorbent polymer. The team is hoping the powder will absorb all the moisture in a storm cloud and essentially take out the cloud wherever the plane drops its load.
As the bomber comes over the top of the cloud, this airplane will call the drop so that the polymer will drop into the cloud and absorb the material.
The real goal here is hurricane season. Dynomat wants to use their powder and these planes to wipe hurricanes off the map.
You're looking at being able to take care of a situation all around the world and protect all of our coastlines.
Last year at this time, Dynomat tested their product with a crop duster. This time, the entire operation is costing them at least $1 million. But for Dynomat, this will be a test which they hope will prove the naysayers wrong.
A Riviera Beach company has some big plans for wiping out hurricanes.
Dynomat has created a super absorbent polymer to dump into storm clouds. The aim is to drain their moisture. So this morning, a jet plane loaded with the chemical took off from Palm Beach International. The plane worked with the airport's control tower to find a suitable cloud for the test. The cloud ended up being about 50 miles offshore.